Welcome to the Gentlemen's Club podcast. This is Shujinkydink, STB Shujinkydink, and I am here to tell you on episode 1 about how my podcast is going to work. I'm not sure if I'll get around to doing it every week, but I'm going to try and do it every 2 weeks. There's no guest on this week's show because I wanted to lay out how it's going to work. Um, Basically, I've seen a lot of drama on Test Your Might and all over the internet. All these podcasts are just talking about blow ups. They're trying to get props. They're, you know, just talking about matchups and who's right and who's wrong for matchups. And I really just wanted to make a podcast for the people, the real men out there, the people that just want to play and compete and get better and not waste their time complaining like little bitches on podcasts every week. Um, so that's why I call it the Gentlemen's Club, because it's going to be actual men on this one who just talk about how to play the game. So the first thing I kind of wanted to talk about is matchup charts. Um, the community has loved to argue about matchup charts for years and years and years and years, going all the way back to when I first started. Which character beats which character, what are the advantages and disadvantages, and who's right and who's wrong. When you're talking about a matchup chart, it is a guideline. A 5-5 is an even matchup. May the better player win, with the most matchup knowledge and experience. 6-4 is a very slight disadvantage. It's not a blow up saying it's unwinnable, just saying that basically one character has to work a little bit harder in a matchup than the others. Then you get to your 7-3s, which is a little bit more difficult. And if you ever played a 7-3, I come from MK, so Quan had a lot of 7-3s. But yeah, it was fun. I know when I used to talk about matchup charts with Quan Chi, I'd get really, really into it, and I'd tend to upplay because I thought that someone saying that my character loses a matchup is a shot at me. So just be aware that just because your character may lose a matchup doesn't mean that you will or anything like that. Sometimes what I like to do is I make my own matchup chart. For example, I know that myself versus Bane is a 7-3. I just struggle really hard in the Bane matchup. I always have struggled with rushdown characters. Johnny Cage and Sonya and MK and Bane and Doomsday and Injustice. It's just my playstyle. I don't like to get overwhelmed like that, and it kind of puts me at a disadvantage when I'm getting rushed down. But I know that. I've been working on it. So I'd maybe suggest going through and, if you had to look at, say, your record against Aquaman, how do you do against Aquaman? Do you win most of the time? Is it a 4-6 in your favor? Do you usually lose? Because sometimes you just need a counterpick character just for you, not for the matchup. As long as you know that matchup with your counterpick character, then that's cool. Even if it's something that your character wins. Like I'd prefer to play Killer Frost over Martian in the Doomsday matchup, but that's just me. I just find it easier. Frost is my secondary. Um, but lately, I'm just trying to go by the attitude that Martian's good enough in every matchup that I should just stick with the Martian. And I have been. So yeah, that's something I like to do. I'm going to go over Martian's cross-up setups, how to use them, how to avoid them from both sides, so that everyone can know what crosses up and what doesn't. So the first one that you should be aware of is the push. A lot of Martians will use this to end combos, and then if you don't know to get out of the push afterwards, I didn't mean to do that. If you don't know how to get out of the push afterwards, then it's going to cross you up, and you're not going to have a very good time. I want to go back there. How do I go back there? Should turn the interactables off. But yeah, so the push is number one. The other one that's kind of similar to it is the back 1-3. That will cross you up as well. I'll set the AI to stance block so you can see. if you ever want to test this, whether if you're testing it on doing it properly or not. That's how it should go. You see the AI face the other way, that means you did it right. This one's my favorite. It's a little bit unsafe on block, and you right there, the forward 2, down 3, but very few people ever block it. And if you do it, you get an extra 11% or whatever it is into an overhead teleport, which will net you another 39%, so 50% basically. More if you do the other combo, but you kind of need trait for that one. So that's my favorite one. You can just loop it over and over again if people aren't catching on to the fact that it crosses up. Certain interactables will cross up as well. That one does. That one does too, but I'm just an idiot. I didn't hit it properly. You'll see this. Now I look silly. One of the more common ones is the robot on Striker's Island. That one will cross up too after a combo. And the Martian can actually combo into it, which is awesome. Awesomely broken. So that's that one. 112. If he has his trait on, the second one's a low. Hard knockdown, it'll cross up. You can also delay it, and it won't cross up. So you gotta pay attention on what the Martian player is doing. The only thing is if he delays it, then he'll allow you to get a wake up. If he doesn't, then you won't. One of his best strings in my opinion. Second hit's low on the trait, so you can do it into Martian grab if you want for double low. The last hit's an overhead, so you can do overhead. It's a hard knockdown. It's +1 on block, so if you block it, get a 5 frame down 1 afterwards. Or sorry, +2 on block. So yeah, I get 4 frame down 1 afterwards. Back 1, 2. That one is +1 on block, but there's too much pushback. You won't be able to get a down 1 after it. I can show you. Yeah, see, it pushes them away. You can do a standing 3. Another thing I wanted to show you, one of his setups that it's kind of underused, I think, is his 2-2-2. Used as a combo ender. After a 2-2-2, you can go for instant air jump 1. You can go for a back 1, ankle grab. You can use a buttloader meter and do a back 1 into that, but it doesn't link, so be aware of that, but it's tricky. Or you could just do a throw. Or if you expect a wake up, you can do a back 3. Or just interactable, like a boss. So that's that one. Going back to the cross-ups, the trick to these, if you're playing against a Martian, is to just tech roll. If you tech roll, it will negate like 90% of the cross-ups. That one's negated. Push is negated. Forward 2 down 3 is negated. The only ones that you can't do are that one because it's a hard knockdown, so you can't roll it, and then the projectiles, interactable ones. Yay, Martian. So that's a little bit of tech and technique there. My next episode, I should gonna try and do it in about 2 weeks. If you want to be on a future episode, let me know if you want to talk about something that's actually gameplay related and, get away from the gossip girl side of things. Love to have you on and we can talk about it. Um, Other than that, I appreciate you guys watching and we will see you for the next podcast.